Kauffman Stadium and Miller Park in Milwaukee. Probably the only two ballparks in baseball that you will consistently find this in the parking lot. Tailgaters as they're getting ready tonight for Game 2 in the City of Fountains here from Kauffman Stadium. The Mariners and the Kansas City Royals, the top team of the Central, with a magic number of 3 to win their first Central title. And Mike, how about we take a look at Lloyd's lineup for tonight's Game 2?
Tonight's starting lineup brought to you by Chevron. Leading off, it'll be Ketel Marte. Marte with a couple of hits, including a triple in last night's ball game. He has a 10-game hitting streak. Kyle Seager, his 25th home run last night. Nelson Cruz, a 9-game hitting streak. Robinson Cano, 1 hit away from 2,000. Franklin Gutierrez. Seth Smith was on base 3 times. Trumbo out of the lineup last night, back in the lineup. He will bat 7th and play first base. Brad Miller hit his 10th home run last night, ties a career high for Brad, and Jesus Sucre will round out the 9 for the Mariners. For Ventura on the year, up and down year for him, a 4.40 ERA. He is a 12-game winner so far. Again, one of the best fastballs you're going to see. He'll average 96 miles an hour. Look for him to hit 98 at times. His best pitch recently has been his curveball, so the Mariners certainly will be aware of that. And we'll take a look at the defense for the Royals, brought to you by American Family Insurance. Alex Gordon, the Gold Glover, out in left field. Kane in center. Alex Rios in right. Moustakas, the third baseman. Escobar and Zobrist playing up the middle. Eric Hosmer, the defensive first baseman, one of the best in the business. And Salvador Perez will do the catching tonight for the Royals.
And a lot of those names that Mike mentioned got a spell last night after Ned Yost decided to get some guys off their legs after an 11-2 win.
We were talking about it. Was he going to rest the guys because they have such a big lead? Well, probably not the way that he wanted to do it, with the Mariners getting out in front early last night.
Nothing but offense last night for the Mariners, coupled with Iwakuma. A brilliant start, 10 strikeouts, 7 scoreless. We'll see what the offense and Elias have in store for us here tonight. Ventura get things going underway. 96 at a first pitch strike. When you look at the velocity for Ventura, it's actually down a couple of notches from last year, where his average fastball, believe it or not, was hovering around 98 miles an hour. Only Nathan Eovaldi of the Yankees throws harder this year in all of the game, but it's by percentage points. Quickly 0-2 to Marte.
Talk about Ventura. Everybody talks about the fastball, but you look at his curveball this year when he's been able to get to it. The league hitting just 144 off of his curveball. He's getting a lot of strikeouts lately, and it's been on the curveball, so the guys are going to probably be a little more aggressive on his fastball early in counts tonight.
Flicked the opposite way and a base hit. And with 2 strikes, Marte is aboard. And for Ketel, that extends his career best now 11-game hitting streak.
Man, this looks like a hit on the curveball. So trying to get the strikeout, probably wanted to bounce it, didn't quite get it there, and Marte going the other way.
Leadoff man reaches for the Mariners. Seager 8 hits his last 5 games. And last night he got the scoring started early for the Mariners, a solo shot in the first. Ned Yost, the all-time winningest manager in Royals history. That happened earlier this season, passing Whitey Herzog, a Hall of Famer. The 1-1 to Seager is outside to make it 2 balls and a strike.
Ventura missing with the changeup. So the curveball changeup combination off speed pitches. He'll also mix in a cutter with his fastball.
And it was last year when Ventura was pitching in Houston that Nolan Ryan had a chance to see him pitch up close and personal. Ventura had a fantastic season last year, and Nolan Ryan said of Ventura, if I could have thrown my changeup as well as he did that early in my career, he said I would have been even better. Gordon towards the line, keeps his feet for out number 1. One out, one on for Nelson Cruz. Now Nelson's already established a career best in home runs, a career best in hits. We were talking last night about the last man to do what Cruz has done in terms of just mass volume of hits that he's at right now, and home runs as well, was Miguel Cabrera, and that's somebody that Lloyd knows very, very well. Lloyd today talked about some similarities between Cruz and Cabrera, and he's got pretty good insight on both guys. One of the things that he mentioned is that, well, they both hit really good pitching. They both seem to step up when you really need it. And they're both really smart hitters. And we've seen that when somebody tries to put the shift on Cruz, for example.
And I think something that I've heard Cabrera talk about, and through my conversation with Nelson, he's able to do it too. When you're talking about hitting good pitching, especially late in games, there's a calmness about them. They don't get too excited. They don't get flustered by the situation at all. Able to stay within themselves.
Lloyd saying both guys, and we've seen this for sure, both guys line to line, use the entire field. And Lloyd, the final comparison, both guys hit breaking balls really well. 2-2.
Well, his best fastball so far at 99 miles an hour.
One out, Marte at first after the single into left.
And a pretty good job laying off of that curveball. That's the tough part, is when he throws his curveball down out of the strikes on the lay off of it, because at 96 to 99 miles an hour as a hitter, you're going to try to cheat a little bit to catch up to the fastball. And once you get started, tough to lay off the breaking ball.
Off the plate, Escobar, the low pick. Out number 2. Marte into second base, and here comes Cano with 2 outs.
Well, this would be a good time for hit number 2,000 in his career, drive in a run. Look at his numbers from last night, 2 for 4, a couple of home runs.
Perez out to have a chat with Ventura. And this is something that Salvador Perez does a lot. He makes a lot of visits out to the mound. Wanting to talk it over with his 24-year-old righty out of the Dominican Republic, now with a man in scoring position facing Cano. Next hit, number 2,000. What a night it was last night for Cano. His first 2 at-bats, both homers, a solo shot, and then a 3-run bomb into the fountains. Now for Ventura, he has not pitched very deep lately. He's not finished even 6 innings in his last 3 starts, which is odd when you consider that before that streak of 3 straight games, his previous 5 were all quality starts. And Perez out once again. Cano, for his career, September has been one of his best months. Hitting nearly 3 1/4 in his career. And that's even despite last September hitting beneath 300.
Well, I think that conversation was not to give in to him. He had first base open. He went right back to his curveball again. Has not thrown him a fastball yet. If he throws him a fastball, he'll probably try to throw it in. But it looks as if he wants to get him out with the curveball.
Marte, the single, moved to second base. He's in scoring position. strikes, and Ventura strands Marte at second. We're through a half inning. We go to the bottom of the first. The Royals coming out, and Elias will take them out. Buenos Elias taking them out here from inside Kauffman Stadium as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Mariners and the Royals scoreless. Game 2 of the series. As we take a look, Mike, at the starting lineup is penciled in by Ned Yost.
The #1 hitting team in the American League. Leading off, Alex Gordon and his Zobrist. Lorenzo Cain, the #3 hitter. Want to keep him off the bases. 28 steals for him. Hosmer Morales leading the club in home runs and RBIs. Bustakas Perez. Alex Rios, 11-game hitting streak for him. Had a base hit last night. 381 average with a couple of home runs, and Escobar will round out the 9 for the Royals tonight. For Elias on the year, ERA just over 4. He has 86 strikeouts over the 102 innings he's pitched so far this year. Opponents hitting .241 against him.
Elias tonight making his 4th career start against the Royals. It's his second this year make it. Facing Gordon right away.
For Elias, his fastball 91 to 93 miles an hour tonight. Curveball changeup combination for his off-speed pitches, and yes, he will change his arm angles against the left-handed hitters.
How do you see that breaking ball faring tonight for Elias against a team that hits fastballs very well?
I think that he's going to need to throw his breaking ball. I think his changeup will be a good pitch for him too. There's a breaking ball. His breaking ball again this year, the league hitting just 165 against it. And when you look at the Royals this year, they're a very good fastball hitting team, but only hitting 200 against off-speed pitches. So I think you're going to see that in play. Iwakuma last night with 10 strikeouts, and a lot of them on the off-speed pitches.
Gordon does not go around. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We saw the splitter work well with 2 strikes and the curveball.
The curveball last night, at times it was 70 miles an hour.
It really slowed it down. Full count to Gordon.
Iwakuma last night, excellent command of all of his pitches, especially his fastball location. It's a team that wants to get after the fastball, but when you pitch on the corners like he was able to, and then you can get to your off-speed pitches, it's a nice combination for Iwakuma last night.
Gordon cuts right through it. Boy, it looked like he almost tried to slow down. Swings through a fastball, 1 out. Nice start for Elias.
91 miles an hour really ties him up. They want to go away, but this is going to be an elevated fastball that he can't lay off of. Again, all the off-speed pitches before the fastball, and he chased it out of the strike zone. Take a look at the defense for the Mariners. Gutierrez getting started left. Miller in center. Smith out in right. Kyle Seager at third. Marte and Cano playing up the middle. Mark Trumbo getting the start at first base tonight. And Sucre will do the catching.
That brings in the switch hitting second baseman Ben Zobrist. Now the Royals on the season have hit right-handers better than lefties. They're a game under 500 against southpaws this year.
As Aaron mentioned, a switch hitter, Zobrist, against left-handers, hitting right-handed this year. He's the exception to the rule, hitting .327. So he's been a little bit better hitting right-handed than left-handed this year.
2 balls and a strike.
And a good changeup on the outside corner.
Now, tough times lately for the Royals. They've lost 6 of their last 9. They've already lost more games this month than any month prior. 7-13 in September, and the pitching has been such a struggle for the Royals this month. An ERA pushing 5.5. 28th in baseball in terms of earned run average this month. And then for some long nights for Ned Yost and his coaching staff. Tight to the line and a fair ball. Zobrist hunting second base, and he'll get in there standing. A 1-out double, and the Royals have a runner in scoring position.
And it looks like it's on the changeup, set up away, end up getting it in the middle of the plate.
One out, 1 on for Kane. And you know, Mike, for a team, there's no worse time to struggle than in April or in September. Get up to a slow start, or a playoff team like the Royals, all of a sudden question marks all over Kansas City.
Yeah, just changed their closer. Tough time closing out games, so they've had to make a change there. I wonder if it's a situation, and we talked about it with the Royals last year, having to fight all the way to the end of the season to get in. This year, obviously, they have a lot of room. When you're going to rest guys, or how are you going to set up your rotation? But maybe it's a situation where right now Ned Yost would just like to see them play well, maybe that last week going into the postseason.
A little momentum late. Zobrist tagging, and it hits off the bag. 2 outs, Zobrist 90 feet from home.
We'll take a look at Seth Smith in right field.
If he wanted to do that, I don't know if he could.
I don't know that you could. You're absolutely right, and I'm not sure they would have been able to keep Zobrist from getting to third. It was a fairly deep fly ball out to right.
2 outs, a runner at third for Hosmer.
That's not.
Big swing.
And we'll take a look at Seth. Seth has a pretty good throwing arm, and you can see right here it has to make an adjustment. I'm not sure if the lights were a factor in that, or you can see him turn his head away.
Chopper, Cano, the scoop. Never needed the bare hand. That'll do it for the Royals. As Zobrist is left lonely at third base. We're through the first inning. 0-0. everybody around baseball as we woke up to find out that the great Yogi Berra, one of the finest ambassadors, Mike, this game has ever seen, passed away at the age of 90, 69 years to the day that he made his major league debut.
Unbelievable career that he had. 3 MVPs. I mean, you look at him, I think it was 7 years in a row where he finished top 4 in the MVP balloting, so was able to get it 3 times. MVP of the World Series a number of times. Just a great, great player. I was fortunate to have had a chance to just meet him on one of our trips through New York.
It's a day you'll never forget.
No, absolutely not.
Of course, Yogi grew up only about 4 hours down I-70 from here in St. Louis. Born on the Hill, the Italian district. Neighbors with Joe Garagiola, former big leaguer and broadcaster. And Joe had the famous line
and catcher.
That's yeah, big leaguer and broadcaster as well. Joe had the famous line of saying that he wasn't even the best catcher on his own block. But that's the thing with Yogi. When people talk about him today, well, maybe not today specifically, but this day and age, it's so easy to think about all the Yogi-isms, and they'll all stand the test of time. Especially, it's never over till it's over. That no saying has ever fit this game better. But what a player he was, and a war hero. He was there at D-Day. This is a guy who served his country, and truly one of baseball's best of all time. I know you're a big Johnny Bench guy. Really, outside of Johnny Bench, you could make the case that there haven't been a better catcher.
I was interested today. I was watching TV all day and listening to all the different people, and more interested in people that had been around Yogi and talking about that. His defense, I always thought of him as an offensive catcher for obvious reasons, but they talked about his defense, and that's what they were talking about. Outside of maybe Johnny Bench, the two of the best ever.
One of the best comparisons I heard today was, imagine Buster Posey's career so far.
I heard that.
And triple it.
And he'll be close.
Yeah, and he'll be approaching what Yogi did.
Yeah, it's an amazing career he had. Great teams that he played on.
One out for Seth Smith. You can look at the numbers for Yogi all day long, and they're incredible. You mentioned the 3 MVPs. The number that really stood out the most to me, in one of his MVP seasons, 20 strikeouts, 27 home runs. Think about it. 20 strikeouts is a few days for some guys.
Right.
Towards Gordon, towards the line. Out number 2. Two outs for Trumbo.
A lot of them also said to that point, not striking out at all, one of the best bad ball hitters of all time. Ted Williams, who everybody or a lot of people consider one of the greatest hitters ever, if not the greatest, said the same thing. His hand-eye coordination was unbelievable.
Rios coasting over to make the catch in a very quick top of the second for Yordano Ventura. Yogi Berra, remembered today and will be forever remembered. To say thanks for their service all season long, the Mariners and EQC have offered 10% off select main, terrace, or view level seats to U.S. Armed Forces members and nearly all home games. Present your military ID at the Safeco Field box office to receive your EQC military discount. Kendrys Morales will lead things off. As Rob Drake, the home plate umpire, looked like he was having a conversation with somebody in the expensive seats. Now, Rob Drake actually fits into some notable Mariners history, as Drake was the home plate umpire when Felix tossed his perfecto against the Rays. Drake now in his 8th year. Elias 15 pitches to get the first 3 outs in that first inning. Stranded Zobrist at third base. Really a very pleasant night tonight from Kansas City. First pitch temperature at 77. Some clouds overhead before first pitch, but we have been told they're not threatening.
The switch hitter Morales hitting .299 with 4 home runs, hitting right-handed this year.
Leadoff walk. Take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next, as we'll have a chance to see the lefty from Ladner, James Paxton, up on the mound for the Mariners, going up against Johnny Cueto. Cueto got off to a brilliant start with the Royals, then really scuffled. His last start was a good one. But overall, the 10 starts, you can see the ERA above 5 as you take a look at Paxton. Paxton will get some extra starts once the season is over with in Arizona. Get that inning count up.
I think the main thing is getting through the year healthy.
Seen so much time with the strained ligament in his finger, middle finger on his pitching hand. Leadoff walk puts Morales at first base. Moustakas the 0-1.
Moustakas hitting .261 against left-handed pitching this year. His best year, you can see the numbers, .278, 20 home runs.
Well, outside to make it 2-1. Hard hit and through the right side. Morales does not move well. He's in at second. That was squared up by Moustakas. First 2 men reached the walk and now the single.
And he's going to get a fastball. 94 miles an hour. One of the best fastballs you're going to see from Elias. Probably just off the outside corners. He lines it into right.
That brings in the catcher, Salvador Perez, batting 7th. And a first pitch strike from Elias.
These are the situations you want to stay out of. When you look at the Royals, one of the things that they do really well is hit with runners in scoring position. As a team, hitting .285 overall with runners in scoring position.
Second straight inning, Elias has been in this type of jam. Zobrist at third base to end the first inning. The 0-2. Check swing, and he goes around. Pat Hoberg saying that is strike 3 on Salvador Perez. 3 pitches, all strikes, and that'll be it for the Royals catcher. 1 out.
Pretty good curveball. Wanted to bounce it up there ahead in the count, so it was well located, and he was able to get the strikeout on the curveball.
That brings in the hot hitting Alex Rios. 9th inning double last night extended his hitting streak to now 11 games. Moustakas the single. He's at first. Morales walked, now leading at second. On the first pitch, and a foul ball. Rios signing as a free agent over the winter to come to Kansas City. He signed the last couple of years with Texas, with Chicago and Toronto before that. And Elias had 0-2. That'll bring out Sucre. Morales and Moustakas aboard. Trying to finish off Rios. And he does. He freezes him. What a curveball there from Elias, and Rios wanting a conversation, more of an explanation from Rob Drake.
And you can see on the EQC tracer, it looks like he was able to hit the outside corner. I think he thought this was off the plate away. Sucre again, he wanted that pitch in the dirt. Elias did not get it there, but was able to get the strike 3 called. They want to try to see if Rios would chase that pitch down out of the strike zone. Was able to get away with that one.
So after Elias put the first 2 men aboard, the walk and the single, a strikeout to Perez, a strikeout to Rios, both with the curveball. Now facing Alcides Escobar, the number 9 hitting shortstop. Boy, it's been nothing but strikes lately from Roenis. And you can see the season average for the Royals, as Mike was talking about, one of the best with runners in scoring position, but not so far tonight.
Really good fastball from Elias at 95 miles an hour, throwing it off the plate away. Now he can come back with his changeup or curveball if he wants to. Escobar, very good fastball hitter.
And Elias ahead
with the breaking ball again.
Mariners pitching coach Rick Waits. And the 1-2. Easy pop up. Cano there for out number 3. And after the first 2 men reach, Elias has stranded 3 Royals base runners over the first 2 innings. Airlines, and that will be a part of postgame. A couple of famous Ron Burgundy lines coming to mind, right? Or you're actually not Rick, you're Mike.
That's okay.
That's part of Anchorman, I'm sure. When in Rome, and ribs, Mike. I had ribs for lunch. That's just outside the TV truck. A lot of baby backs. What? How many do you think? Below? But if you could go through a couple of those slabs?
No.
Not at this hour?
No.
But for a normal meal, come on. At least one.
Maybe one.
You're a Viking.
Maybe one.
How many for Val?
Oh, he would go through a couple.
Ventura with the basket catch, and he applies a tag on Miller.
Give Ventura some credit. Hustling over there. I think if that ball hits the ground, it probably ends up going foul. It'll spin and go foul. Then he makes the tag on Brad. Get it right off the top of the plate. But a good play.
Only 9 pitches for Ventura in the second, and he gets Miller on the first offering. Now faces Sucre. Have you found a local barbecue establishment that is your favorite, Mike, all the years you've been coming to Kansas City?
Probably Gates.
Yeah. That's the standby. Zobrist doesn't have to move much to his left. Boy, Ventura turning outs pretty quickly here. 2 down. Join us for one of the biggest events of the year, Fan Appreciation Fireworks Night on October 2nd. You can win Alaska Airlines round-trip tickets, the opportunity to throw out a first pitch, and much, much more as we roll out prize giveaways all game long. Then sit back and enjoy post-game fireworks display. Tickets at mariners.com/fan.
Well, the Mariners so far just 1 hit in the game, and it belongs to that man, Ketel Marte. A base hit leading the game off. Pretty good hitting, too. He's in a 1-2 count. Ended up getting the curveball from Ventura and hit it the other way. Line drive into left field. Was able to extend his hitting streak to 11 games.
Now, before Marte dug in here with 2 outs, 12 pitches to get the last 5 outs for Ventura.
Well, I think as a team, you go through your reports and you try to figure things out. And I thought that we were going to see them be aggressive on his fastball early in counts, and it's because his curveball has been so good lately, and he's been getting a lot of strikeouts with the curveball. I think you look at that. Let's try not to have to deal with it and get after the fastball. The downside is it makes him efficient with his pitching if you're not picking up hits and getting him in trouble.
Marte ahead in the count, 3-1. Seager would be next, 2 outs. Over Hosmer at first base, and Marte is 2 for 2. The hits just keep on coming for the rookie shortstop.
And he gets himself into a good count, 3-1. Fastball on the inside corner at 97 miles an hour and able to turn on it. With that base hit, he raises his average up to 297 now.
And at this rate, Marte is going to go into the offseason with a lot of confidence.
I think that he will.
Zobrist very deep at second base, if you can call it that. And that'll do it for the Mariners in the top of the third. They strand a base runner as we go to the home half. We're scoreless. Sports is brought to you by AM/PM. Too much good stuff. By BNSF Railway, sponsor of the BNSF Blast. And by Honda, get a dream deal on your favorite Honda now at your Honda dealer. Happy you could join us here on Root Sports for Mariners baseball from the city of Fountains, Kansas City, Missouri. Aaron Goldsmith, Mike Flowers, our entire Root Sports crew. Back to the top of the order, it's Alex Gordon to lead things off for Kansas City. A lot of curveballs early from Elias. And 2 straight to start the at-bat against Gordon.
He was able to strike him out in his first at bat, and he threw him nothing but breaking balls until the strikeout pitch, which was an elevated fastball at 94 miles an hour.
Ducre off with the mask, off with the helmet. And based on the swing that we saw from Gordon on that fastball, he really looked like he thought something else was coming.
It did, and again, I think the one thing from Elias tonight that I've noticed with him is he has one of the better fastballs we've seen this year. Normally he's around 92 miles an hour. We've seen him top out at 94. We've seen a lot of top out at 95, excuse me. A lot of 94s. That pitch 93 miles an hour. So I think he's surprising them a little bit.
He really had Gordon thinking when he struck him out earlier.
And he tried the elevated fastball again.
Now Gordon ran the count full in the first, and he does so here in the third. Easy play for Trumbo. Out number 1. Now the first time, make it the second time that the leadoff man has been retired early on tonight.
And he has shown a lot of confidence in his breaking ball. Leadoff hitter, 3-2, does not give in to him that time. Throws him the breaking ball after the fastball last time up. You can see Gordon out in front of it, rolling over on it. Also changed the arm angle again against the lefty. Zobrist had a base hit his first time up a double down to the third base line. It was on the changeup.
Well, the last time that Elias saw the Royals, that was back in late June at Safeco Field. It was really a bizarre start for Rowan, as he was perfect through the first 3 innings, 9 up, 9 down, and he plowed through the lineup with only 26 pitches to get the first 9 outs, and then things just disintegrated just immediately. 7 runs in the 4th inning, and before you knew it, Elias was out of the ballgame.
Well, one of the things with him is its arm slot, and if he loses it, a lot of pitches will end up in the middle of the plate, or you'll get into really good hitters counts and they'll get after his fastball. So you have to hope that where he's at right now, he's able to stay there. And you have to like the fact that he's faced 11 batters, 8 first pitch strikes from him. And he's been able to do it with all of his pitches. Starting Zobrist off with a curveball this time around.
And he loses Zobrist, a 1-out walk. Second walk early on tonight from Elias. Well, take a look at the Mariners calendar, brought to you by Sleep Country USA. The series will wrap up tomorrow night. 5:10, the first pitch time back in the Northwest. And then it's off to Orange County to take on the Angels for 3, a weekend series. And then that will conclude the final road trip of the season. Back home to finish off 2015, 3 against the Astros. An off day right before the final series of the season against the Oakland A's. 1 out, 1 on for Lorenzo Cain.
The Mariners so far have won 3 out of 4 on the road trip. It's been a really good month of September for them.
Cano drifting out. Out number 2. Now this month it seems like everything has gone right for the Mariners, the pitching and the offense.
Well, we've talked a lot about the offense and for good reason. 5 home runs last night, and they've really swung the bats well. But a 2.81 ERA in the month of September, that's the best in the American League. They've really thrown the ball well.
You can take a look at the best records this month.
How about the West?
How about that? Mariners, Rangers, Angels, and then you see the mighty Blue Jays. On the first pitch, Hosmer looking like an easy out. Here comes Brad Miller for round number 3. Zobrist with that 1-out walk is left stranded, and we are through 3 innings. Game show. Nelson Cruz will lead things off for the Mariners in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, we've talked a lot about Ventura and his fastball, and he has a good one tonight. His best fastball so far has been 99 miles an hour, and that was to Nelson Cruz. Nelson fouling that fastball up at 97. Nelson grounded out to short his first time up.
Ventura making his 4th career start against the Mariners. It's his first this year. And in that brief sample of 3 previous starts, he's pitched well. Two and two. Off the end of the bat to Zobrist. Down number 1. That brings in Cano, and what a night it was for the Mariners second baseman last night. A couple of home runs for Robinson Cano. A look here at the first one. The second one, Mike, very memorable. Just made a splash.
He was able to turn on a couple of fastballs, and this one 438 feet, his 19th home run of the season. One of the things that he's really done well here in the second half is turning on the fastball inside.
One hit away from being Robbie 2K, 2,000 hits. Continues to amaze how well Robinson is hitting with how poorly he is moving.
Well, he said that it doesn't bother him to swing, but running is the part that hurts him the most, so he's trying to be careful with that, and you certainly want his bat in the lineup.
Down on strikes. Two outs. Well, it's now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag RTNWDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Two quick outs, and it brings in Gutierrez. Oh, Mike, going back to that final pitch that was missed by Cano, that was clocked at 86 miles an hour as a curveball. That's got to be the firmest curve from anybody in the big leagues.
Well, you would think so. And again, the league really hasn't hit much off his curveball, and that's where he's getting a lot of his strikeouts. We'll take another look at it, and you can see Perez, he wants it down in the zone, and again, he's hit 99 miles an hour 4 times in this inning, and when you have to get ready for a fastball, it is so difficult to lay off of that curveball, because you can see the one to Cano, it looked as if it was going to be a fastball thigh high, and then the bottom falls out of it with that 12-6 action that he has, but the league hitting just 144 off of this curveball.
'99.
And well located. You can see it on the EQC tracer right on the inside corner at the knees.
Right to Escobar. And the side retired in order. That'll do it for the Mariners at the top of the 4th. We go to the home half. Our Geico This Day to Big League History. We will hone in tonight on Mike's 1997 Mariners team. And then you can see Jay Buhner punching out home run number 258 for the Mariners. They would go on to hit 264 as a team. And Mike, that still stands as a single season big league record. The Rangers in 05 came close. They hit 260, so 4 shy of tying, 5 shy of passing. That record still stands.
Yeah, that was a special year, and a lot of guys had big years that year. mentioned Jay. Of course, there's Junior. I think Sorrento had over 30 home runs as the first baseman that year.
Junior had 56. There were 6 guys. 6 guys with at least 20, and Junior by far had the most, as Morales will lead things off. Really, if you look at the history of the game and the best home run seasons by an individual team, if you look at the top 10, the Mariners have 3 of the most powerful home run hitting teams in the history of the game. We just looked at that 1997 team, a Major League best, 264. They hit 245 the year before that. In 1996, that's tied for the 7th most in a single season history. And then 244 in 1999. Morales shoots it the opposite way, and it bounces in for a base hit. So some pretty good home run history in Seattle at this point, Mike.
Kingdom was a great place to hit, Aaron. I can tell you that.
You're saying that that's a part of the equation?
Well, I mean, you just mentioned the players. They're obviously very special.
Right.
But it was still a great place to hit.
Morales aboard for the second time. A walk earlier, now a single. Brings in Mike Moustakas.
And when you have years where Junior's chipping in 50 plus and Jay's hitting 40 plus, that gets you off to a pretty good start.
Some video game numbers. Now, some very emotional times recently for Mike Moustakas, as he has just recently said to the public that his mother has passed away from cancer. And at this point, she passed away over a month ago. But the man they call Moose here in Kansas City has kept that very private, very quiet. He has not spoken to reporters about it here in Kansas City. He is planning on doing that tomorrow. And per his request, and Mike is a former player, you can understand this, he would like to talk about it once, talk about it to everybody, and then move on, because not an easy subject, as we can all understand, to talk about.
No, a difficult time for him right now, and so I can certainly understand that.
Elias ahead 1-2. One of the most really emotional responses we heard from Moustakas, is he has talked about it, but only to select media, is that the days after his mother passed was the idea that he still left tickets for her at the ballpark, and that really chokes you up, as it did him. The knob of the bat foul.
I like the location of the last 2 fastballs. Elevated inside. He wants to get him out with the breaking ball. Give him a look at that fastball up to try to speed him up a little bit if you can. Moustakas with a base hit on the fastball his first time up.
Fouls off a curve.
And again, changing arm angles to the left-handed hitters.
Gets some fishing inside the other batter's box. That's a wicked curveball from Elias.
And again, it's because of the 2 fastballs. So he's able to throw the breaking ball. Moustakas trying to cheat to catch up to that fastball inside. And he chases the ball that's in the dirt out in front of home plate.
Last 3 strikeouts from Roenis Elias have all been on the hook. There is Perez. Squares it up to center field, chasing Miller back. Miller out of room. It's off the wall. Morales held at third. And Salvador Perez, a wall ball double with 1 out.
We'll take a look at it. First pitch fastball, middle away. We talked about Kansas City. Very aggressive on the fastball, and that one is squared up as it hits off the base of the wall. Morales, the base runner at first, and a lot of people in Seattle are aware of the fact that he does not run well. little bit of a break for the Mariners.
Now, with the exception of the third inning where Elias stranded Zobrist at first base, he has had to work with at least one runner in scoring position each inning. And Zobrist at third in the first inning, Morales at second in the second inning. Now 2 in scoring position.
And because Morales doesn't run well, the Mariners will play their infield halfway. They're not going to bring him all the way in, try to give him a little bit more range.
Elias falls behind 2-0. Remember, Elias last pitched 5 days ago, but that was in relief. He threw only 6 pitches at the third of an inning in Arlington against the Rangers. Lloyd put him in the bullpen for a little bit of time, freshened him up some, and now back in the rotation. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rios, batting 8th.
Well, he's been able to get back in the count with 2 changeups, back-to-back changeups from Elias.
Now Rios came to the plate in the second inning with 2 on and ended up striking out looking on a curveball, which he was disputing a little bit politely, but disputing nonetheless with Rob Drake, home plate umpire. This time the curve floats high.
Now overthrowing it a little bit.
Escobar 0 for 1 on deck. Morales at third, Perez at second in a scoreless ball game.
Better curveball that time.
Lifted left field, some good carry. Goody's got some space, and he hauls it in for out number 2. And even with Morales not running well, that's plenty deep enough to give the Royals a 1-0 lead. Sac fly to left, that leadoff single comes around to score. I'll bring the family out to the ballpark and save. Score 4 tickets, hot dogs, and Pepsis for one low price. Safeco Insurance invites you to do more with the Grand Slam Family Package. The final event all set for Wednesday, September 30th against the Astros. You can pick up tickets at Mariners.com. 2 outs and a run in for the Royals. Escobar had long been the leadoff man for Kansas City this year, but then fell on some offensively tough times. And once Gordon got healthy again, Gordon went back to the top of the order. He's the man on deck right now. Escobar batting 9th. Elias now nearing 70 pitches. couple of switch hitters in the lineup today for the Royals. Morales and Zobrist. A lot of right-handed bats. It seems like we're not seeing that changeup quite as much, Mike. Is that fair?
Well, he has such a good curveball tonight, and we mentioned it, the league not hitting much of it, so he wants to throw that a little bit more. He did not want to give in to Escobar. 2-0, he threw him the changeup, just missed with it. That was a fastball right there, and Lloyd McClendon out of the dugout, going to make a trip out to the mound. Yeah, the left-hand hitter Gordon due up. He's been able to handle him a strikeout and a ground out to first.
So mostly because of, well, one of the reasons because the curveball's been so sharp.
I think so.
Well, as Lloyd talking things over, this copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. And I'll say these Escobar, not a guy who walks much at all. In fact, the Royals don't walk much at all. But he draws the 2-out walk, the number 9 hitter. So kind of a double whammy there for Elias.
Well, he threw him 3 off-speed pitches, the curveball a couple of times, and then the changeup. 3-0, he threw the fastball and missed with it. I really don't think, I think he wanted to pitch around him a little bit. He likes the left-handed matchup a little bit better for him.
So maybe setting up a visit here with Alex Gordon.
Gordon has hit left-handers this year, hitting .282 against lefties on the year.
Perez at second, Escobar at first. Now this ball game was scoreless entering the bottom of this 4th inning, but then the sac fly by Rios deep to left field has put the Royals on the board first. Two and nothing. Rick waits on the telephone. Three straight 3-ball counts with Zobrist on deck. Swinging on 3-0. David Rollins beginning to stir in the bullpen. Gordon now the 6th batter of this inning for the Royals. And a walk to load up the bases. Missed with the curve. Perez into third base. Escobar, who walked as well, is in at second.
Already the 4th walk to the Royals tonight. And the Royals as a team don't walk very much. So you look at their numbers overall, they are last in the American League in walks. With a couple of walks here in this inning, and so far 4 walks for Elias, which has really hurt his pitch count.
Zobrist good numbers in his career with the bases loaded. Goes after the first pitch. Right to Marte, the short way, and that'll do it as Elias throws 28 pitches to get 3 outs here in the 4th. A run in for the Royals. They lead it 1-0. On top 1-0 as we begin things in the top of the fifth. And for those who have seen Yordano Ventura all season, especially lately, they're probably thinking that this has, well, at least to this point, Mike, been one of his most efficient starts. 50 pitches, 31 strikes over the first 4 innings. And this is coming from a 24-year-old righty in Ventura that has not pitched deep lately at all.
And he's topped out at 99 miles an hour. He's hit that number a number of times in this one and has had a really good curveball. You have to wonder, Aaron, if with the postseason out in front of the Royals and he was their #1 starter coming out of spring training, maybe he's trying to work his way a little bit further into the mix.
Last year, Ventura starting Game 2 and Game 6 of the World Series.
And a pretty good changeup right there after a good fastball.
Smith behind. Remember, at one point this year, Ventura was pitching so poorly that they actually optioned him down to AAA Omaha, only for him to turn right back around and come to Kansas City. Jason Vargas, the former Mariner, pretty severe elbow injury, needing Tommy John out for the year, so that prompted Ventura to come right back.
I was talking to Jeff Montgomery, a longtime closer here in Kansas City, about Ventura and what he had been seeing from him, because I was looking at the pitch counts, throwing 100 pitches to work through 5 innings, that kind of thing. Pretty good breaking ball again. And I asked him about him, and he said that most of his troubles were in the first 2 innings. If he was going to give up runs and throw a lot of pitches, it was going to be early. Once he gets through that, he said he's been really good. Well, that hasn't been the case, and that he's been pretty good right from the start of this one.
He gets Smith and now faces Trumbo.
Trumbo lined out to right his first time up.
Really, the forms that this Royals rotation has taken this year, it's pretty surprising, because when you think about the Royals, you think about the pitching, but really, if you're going to hone it down to be more accurate, you think about the bullpen. And even that has showed some cracks lately, with Wade Davis becoming the closer and Greg Holland being relieved of his duties for the rest of the year, at least in that capacity. We talked about Vargas done for the year. Ventura was sent down. Joe Blanton was a member of this rotation for 4 games. And as you can see, Dave Island, a very well-respected pitching coach.
And Cueto hasn't been the guy that they thought they were going to get when they made the trade for him, although he was better in his last outing.
Right. Jeremy Guthrie has been back and forth. It's not been good. We saw that last night. Danny Duffy, as you see Cueto, it's pretty easy to recognize. Danny Duffy was in the rotation, now in the bullpen, where he will be in the postseason. Right back up the middle, and it sneaks past Escobar. A 1-out base hit for Trumbo. Mariners' first hit, their first base runner since Marte's single in the 3rd.
And Mark able to take advantage of a curveball, one of the few that we've seen at the top of the strike zone. He's done an excellent job trying to bury the curveball, but this one will stay up. Mark able to hit it right back up the middle.
Really, the final 2 wrinkles for this rotation, which seems to take many life forms for the Royals this year. Chris Medlin, who's been a fantastic story, 2 Tommy John surgeries, was looking very good a couple of years ago with the Braves, signed as a free agent with Kansas City, and has been pitching really pretty well lately out of the rotation. And then the final note on the rotation this year for Kansas City, our great friend, one of the best guys in baseball, Chris Young, was in the rotation for a while, and now in the bullpen. Chris, last year's American League Comeback Player of the Year, and for good reason. Miller representing the go-ahead run. Homered last night to tie his career high in 10. Chris's height is somewhat negated. It seems to be the legs more than the torso, as actually kind of blends in there. You can see Danny Duffy with the hoodie and the beard. Duffy, a strange and kind of incredible story. Years ago, walked away from baseball completely, gave up on his career, then came back. This was when he was in the minor leagues. One very high prospect for the Royals. I've seen him pitch very well in the rotation against the Mariners at times. But a home for now in the bullpen. Trumbo the single. He leads at first, held by Hosmer. Brad stays alive.
Well, this ballpark for years has been known for triples. And I think that Brad would qualify. Hit a ball in the gap. It would be an easy triple for Brad. Good time for it. Big outfield. It's a fast outfield.
Little number. Ventura with the bare hand, and Hosmer having to get out of the way. A little bit of Miller, and Brad is aboard. That's an infield single. Ventura looked like he lost his grip on it for a moment. We'll take another look.
He did, and then he rushed his throw, and you can see it go right back into the runner and Brad. Unfortunately, they didn't run into each other.
One out and 2 on.
I think that's a good break for both clubs. Obviously, the Royals don't want to lose Hosmer, and Brad, a young player, you certainly don't want to see him get hurt.
No, very true. RBI chance here for Sucre.
First opportunity, or excuse me, second opportunity for the Mariners to hit with a runner in scoring position. Marte was stranded at second base in the first.
And Ventura has been cruising for the most part tonight, especially the last couple of innings. Now Smith began this inning striking out on a curve, then Trumbo singled up the middle right past Escobar by second base. Miller the infield hit. Royals on the board thanks to a Rio sac fly in the bottom of the fourth as we play in the top of the fifth. Runners take off. Chopper to Escobar, and his only play is to get Sucre at first. Works out well for the Mariners. 2 outs and 2 in scoring position. Well, get your hands on the latest and greatest Mariners Moose poster. They're free to all youngsters at Kids Appreciation Day, presented by Ivers in Kid Valley on Sunday, October 4th. There will be prizes, surprises, mascots, and more that afternoon, so grab your tickets now at mariners.com. Trumbo at third, Miller at second base, 2 outs for Marte. 2 for 2, a couple of singles. 1 to left field, 1 to right. Not missing by much in 97. That base hit for Marte in the first inning that extended what has already been a career best, now 11-game hitting streak. 17 hits in those 11 games now. Crack to the gap in right center field, and this will give the Mariners the lead. Trumbo scores. Miller coasts home. Marte digging his way onto third base, and he gets there standing up. 2-1 Mariners thanks to Marte. A 3-hit night. You were saying something about triples, Mike.
No, that's a good example of it. One, they're playing shallow, and he hits this ball hard. Goes down and digs out a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And I was curious to see if Ventura was going to throw him the fastball. You talked about the base hit in the first inning. His second base hit was in a 3-1 count. Challenged him with the fastball, and he hit it hard into right field. So 2-0. A hitter's count, challenged him again, and Marte made him pay for it.
Good stop by Perez with Seager at the plate.
Excellent job keeping his head in the hitting area on that low fastball. He really had to stay with it. Was able to get the barrel to it and drive it into the gap in right center field.
So what's the tendency for, especially for a young hitter in that situation?
Well, they're thinking, okay, hitters count. This guy throws hard. I'm going to get started a little bit early so I catch up to the fastball. You want to get the barrel to it, and that front shoulder will start to leak out for him. Hitting left-handed, leak out towards right, and then you'll hit it more towards the end of the bat, especially if it's down like that pitch was. The pitch was down out of the strike zone. He didn't do any of that. He just stayed with it and hit it hard into the gap. Didn't try to do too much and was paid off for it with the triple. We'll take another look at the swing by Marte. You can watch his head just stay right in the hitting area and dig it out. You can see him just, even his shoulders go down to get it. And the tendency again is to pull off of that pitch a little bit. Typically you see a ground ball to second base on a pitch like that. And Ventura, who'd been really sharp as he walked Seager, he has fallen behind 4 of the last 5 hitters. We like to see the Mariners take advantage of that. Dave Island, pitching coach, is making a trip out to the mound.
First walk tonight from the Royals starter.
And we talked about it earlier, him having to throw a lot of pitches to get through 5, not able to get through 6 in his last 3 outings. And he was cruising along, and now he's starting to throw a lot of pitches here in this inning.
And he has to face Nelson Cruz. Quick word or two from Island. Now Nelson looking to pick up his first hit tonight. A couple of ground ball outs. Two-run triple for Marte. Seager the walk. He's at first.
.27 pitches in the inning for Ventura. And another good count. Now falling behind 5 of the last 6 hitters.
Two balls and a strike to Cruz. Now tonight it has been Marte with 3 of the Mariners' 5 hits. As he stands at third, he's done the damage so far tonight for the Mariners, or most of it. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. The opposite way towards the pole, slicing, and it slices a little too much.
You get into these kinds of pitching matchups, and a lot of times it'll come down to a play or two, and Ventura not able to handle the ball from Brad Miller off the end of the bat when he bobbled it and then threw it up the line a little bit. That's really cost him. If he's able to make that play, all of a sudden you have a couple of outs with Sucre coming to the plate, who he was able to get the ground out to short. That didn't happen.
And instead Miller comes around to score with Trumbo. Cano on deck, 2 outs and a full count to Cruz. They'll do it again.
And the next pitch will be 8. 8th pitch of this at bat coming up, fouling off that curveball.
A little looper, and it drops in. The Mariners add another run. Here comes Marte. Seager first to third, and Nelson Cruz checks in with a 2-out RBI single. It's 3-1 Mariners.
And another off-speed pitch. Able to go down and dig it out. I think it broke his bat. I think that was the changeup. Mariners now 2 for 4 runners in scoring position.
Now for Robbie, now hit number 2,000 could make it 4-1 Mariners, if not more so. Some run support for Roenis Elias, tonight's starter. Couple of strikeouts tonight for Cano. Off the plate, Ventura comes home with it, and out at home, Kyle Seager. Not exactly how you saw that one going down. Wow. We'll take another look. What do you see here, Mike?
We'll take a look at, maybe Kyle gets his foot in there before he tags him. No, it looks like he's out tagged him right on the knee. Hopefully Kyle will be okay.
That's right. Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. As we begin things in the bottom of the 5th inning, Lorenzo Cain leads things off for Kansas City. Healthy swing there, and it's 1-1. Miller coming in, and he's able to make the catch, dropping to a knee. We'll take a look at the Big Fish Casino big catch. And Mike, this was an interesting way, to say the least, to end the 5th.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I think on this play, Kyle Seager and Perez, the catcher, all expected Ventura to go to first base, because as we all know, Cano is not running well right now. But I don't think Ventura is aware of that and decided to make the play, because you could see Perez, he was just standing there away from the plate, and I don't think he expected to throw either. And you could see where that tag was at, fortunately. You'd like to see Kyle slide there, if nothing else, to protect himself, because you could see his knee almost hyperextend a little bit, reaching for home plate. Fortunately, he looks like he's fine. But you were kind of, and you're absolutely right, you were asking me at the break, good play by Cano right there, because we've watched Cano with that abdominal strain and the issues he has running, why he wouldn't just take his time and go to first. Well, Ventura, a young pitcher, an excitable young man, I'm sure that he's not aware of that. He's assuming it's the same Cano that he's seen for the last few years. And you wonder too, and it's different from player to player, but even if you have some inkling of that, even if you've noticed it in the heat of the moment, right, sometimes the scouting reports, Mike, I'd have to imagine, fizzle away. Well, I think what he was going to try to do right there is when he caught the ball, I think he thought he had time to tag him. You saw the glove kind of come away from the body a little bit. Right. And at that point, I think the idea of going to first base at all was out of the equation. Ahead of Morales, 0-2. Now both pitchers really ran into a little bit of a roadblock. Elias 28 pitches in the bottom of the fourth. Ventura 37 in the top of this fifth inning. Talked about the success for the Mariners and the ERA that they've had in the month. They've been able to get things settled down in the back of their bullpen with Carson Smith pitching the 8th and then Big Tom pitching the 9th inning. Tom has been perfect in his save opportunities, and I think in this situation you'd like to see Elias get out of this inning right here, hopefully get you through the 6th, because Danny Farquhar is throwing the ball much better. You can have Danny and a combination of guys pitch in the 7th inning to get the ball to Carson. Morales, a big swing and a miss. Nice pitch there from Elias. The off-speed pitch in a 1-2-3 inning, the first of its kind tonight, spun by Roenis Elias. Available at soundtransit.org. We're off to the top of the 6th here in Kansas City, and we always like to think of this as a family-friendly broadcast. We've never claimed that it is a vegetarian-friendly broadcast. As the guys out by the truck, they are cooking up some baby backs. Staying busy in a number of ways tonight inside the truck and out. And we know we'll be stopping by after this one's over with, Mike. Yep, absolutely. Looks like they are progressing very well. Well, you mentioned it, Ventura throwing 37 pitches. Really nice inning by Elias. 1-2-3 inning for him. He'd like to see the guys put the pressure right back on him. He did not have a chance to sit in the dugout for very long after throwing all those pitches. And Scooty to begin things in the top of the 6th. And Ventura now 89 pitches. Morales, the left-hander, getting loose in the bullpen for the Royals.
Now, what a night it was last night for the Mariners offense, tying a season high with 11 runs. The last time, Mike, this is a fun blast from the past. The last time the Mariners dropped 11 runs here at Kauffman Stadium, Russell Branyan and Jose Lopez each drove in 3 runs. The winning pitcher was Luke French. It had been a little while. 11 runs, not easy to get to, especially on the road, and especially against Royals pitching.
And I think if you look at last night, the only thing that was disappointing for me was Franklin Gutierrez.
Yeah.
Franklin had a chance to homer in 5 straight games, and he hit a ball off the top of the fence in right center field for a double, just missing a home run to make it 5 days in a row.
Moustakas has had a little bit of a quiet night at third base. 1 out. Well, we have another high school football game of the week tomorrow, brought to you by Acura of Bellevue. Hope you can tune in to see Kentwood take on Kent Ridge. That is at 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Don't miss your favorite local teams in action this season on Root Sports. One out for Seth Smith. Smith 0 for 2, struck out on a breaking ball back in the 5th. Interesting, the Royals don't necessarily shift, but they do put Zobrist very deep and keep Escobar over on the third base side of second. Smith behind 1-2. Morales warming up. The clock starting to tick a little bit on Ventura. Over the mound, and Escobar. Oh, we talked about not being in the shift. They had Escobar in the perfect place. 2 ground ball outs. So Ventura, as his pitch count is approaching triple digits, is looking to go 6 full innings for the first time in a while. Has not done that in each of his last 3 starts. Ventura is close to equal strikeouts to innings pitched, but you might think, Mike, with the stuff that he has, then that number would be almost dead even. A strikeout per inning, and we've seen some big strikeout games from Ventura in recent starts, maybe more like within the last month or so, but not so much lately.
He had back-to-back games where he punched out 11. I think again, I think most clubs are probably tendency is to be a little more aggressive with him,
like we saw back in especially the 3rd and the 4th tonight.
And then you can see 48% fastballs. There's the breaking ball. Again, his curveball has been his best pitch, even though he's topped out at 99 a number of times. And even after 100 pitches, that last fastball still 97 miles an hour.
Now don't let his small frame fool you. Still 2-2 on Trumbo, who singled and scored back in the 5th. All three Mariners runs coming that inning. It was the Marte 2-run triple, and then Cruz dropped in a base hit into left field. That scored Marte from third. Reaching for it. Deep backhand from Escobar. The pick on the other end by Hosmer. And the side retired in order for the third time in 6 innings by Yordano Ventura, but the Mariners have the lead. For Ketel Marte, and up on the mound it has been Roenis Elias, who has been working the hook off the mound.
He's done a nice job working ahead of hitters. Had a really good curveball tonight to go along with his changeup. Good fastball too. A lot of 94s, topped out at 95 miles an hour. We thought we'd see him throw his off-speed pitches quite a bit, and he's been able to do that.
First pitch strike to Moustakas.
Well, we were talking about Danny Farquhar earlier. Danny now getting loose in the pen. 88 pitches for Elias.
Curveball makes it 0-2 to Moustakas. Logan Morrison at first base, rejoining the team after the birth of his daughter back home in Seattle. Good to have Lomo back.
For Elias, his high this year as far as pitches goes is 105. He's now at 90. Really like to see him get through this inning. Let Danny start the 7th.
Take a look at Farquhar there. As Lloyd has said, Danny is back. It's the Farquhar Bowl.
I think if you look at his last 5 outings, he's been really good. Fastball command has been excellent.
Ends it back again.
We saw the same sequence of pitches or close to it in his last at bat with Moustakas against Elias, and he was able to strike him out on the breaking ball. In fact, the breaking ball bounced in front of home plate, and he still chased it.
Off the hands, the count stays full. Salvador Perez had doubled his last time up. He's on deck. Elias trying to make quick work of Moustakas as he's battling off pitches with a full count. And he gets some swinging. What a curve from Elias. That has been the theme of the night. Take a look at our Delta Airlines Keep Climbing standings. We hone in tonight on the American League wild card. Astros losing today. The Angels winning at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. But the Astros and the Twins tied in the loss column. But still a 1.5 game cushion above Paul Molitor's club. As here comes Lloyd. He'll take the ball from his starter, Roenis Elias. Danny Farquhar has been loosening up in the bullpen. Got a pitching change. 1 out, nobody on, as Lord Farquhar coming on to work things in the bottom of the 6th. Sports is brought to you by Money Tree. Proud to make a donation to Mariners Care for every Mariners win. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Jack in the Box, taste the new spicy nacho chicken sandwich munchie meal tonight. Only at Jack in the Box. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful look. Parking lot looking over towards Kauffman Stadium. 1 out. Here is Salvador Perez and Danny Farquhar up on the mound.
We'll take a look at what Elias did tonight. 5 1/3, just 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 4 walks. Was able to pitch around some walks tonight. Had 6 strikeouts through 95 pitches. Good outing for Elias.
To center. Miller really has a long way to go for it, and it drops between Miller and Smith. Now Brad looked like he was shaded the other way.
He was. He was out towards left center field. Seth Smith playing straight up and right. We'll take a look at the swing. Little cut fastball off the end of the bat. Did not hit it hard. And lands in the right spot for Perez. For Elias, faced 24 batters, 16 first pitch strikes tonight. Take a look at the numbers for Danny. 38 appearances on the year, a 4.67 ERA, 41 strikeouts over the 44 1/3 that he has worked. Opponents hitting .254. It's a good fastball. Will be in the low to mid 90s with his 4-seam fastball. Cutter right around 90 miles an hour. Mix in a 12-6 curveball and a changeup to the lefties.
And those numbers for Farquhar, although important for the full scope of this season, really do not reflect what he has done lately. This month of September, 8 1/3 scoreless innings, and that hit which just dropped in, only the 2nd hit this month, now in his 9th appearance. High to left center. Miller again, a long way to go for it, ranging, and Brad is able to make the catch. Out number 2, looking like a center fielder out there. Well, Bark at the Park is back next Tuesday at 7:10. This special offer includes a ticket for both you and your dog, a Mariners dog bandana, and an invitation for all four-legged fans to walk around the bases post-game. It's all for only $40. Tickets are available only at mariners.com/bark. 2 outs, Perez at first base. It brings in Escobar, the tying run. Farquhar behind 2-0. Line drive, and it is a fair ball into the corner. Perez, the catcher, not the most fleet of foot he's held, as Escobar stands up at second. Two-out double. First hit tonight for the Royals shortstop.
Well, Danny falling behind 2-0. Wanted the cutter on the outside corner. He left it on the inside corner, and Escobar hits it down the left field line. Good job by Gutierrez to get the ball in quickly. Talked about it with the Royals. Have really done a good job hitting with runners in scoring position this year. At the start of the game, hitting .285. I have them 0 for 6 tonight. Nice job by Elias to pitch out of trouble.
He was in a couple of jams, and some tough ones at that. Alex scored to the leadoff man for Ned Yost. Hitless so far tonight. A walk his last time up. Here comes Sucre. And here comes Rick Waits too.
Yeah, and I like this right here. If you're not sure, this is, you have the game in the balance right now. It looked like Sucre and Danny weren't on the same page, so let's get out there, get together, make sure they get the scouting report right, and attack Gordon the way that Danny wants to.
Tying run with very good speed in Escobar at second base. Full house here tonight from Kauffman Stadium. What a year it has been for the Royals on the field and in the stands too. Strike one. Gordon the go-ahead run for the Royals. Dropping over to Cano, an easy play, and Farquhar wiggles out of the jam. The Royals strand 2 in scoring position as we go to the 7th. The Mariners hold the lead. look at the night that was for Royal starter Yordano Ventura.
6 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned, 1 walk, just 4 strikeouts. He threw 103 pitches, 61 of those for strikes. And it was the 5th inning. He had to throw 37 pitches in the 5th inning. The Mariners getting all 3 runs in that inning. Ryan Madson going to take over. 62 appearances on the year. He's pitched well, a 2.35 ERA. In 57 1/3, he has 53 strikeouts, only 12 walks. Opponents hitting just 206 against him. He has given up 5 home runs this year.
Now, Madson really should be in the discussion for comeback player of the year. He is pitching in the big leagues for the first time since 2011. Long career with the Phillies, as he missed all of 2012 through 2014, multiple elbow injuries. And in spring training this year, he faced live hitters for the first time since the summer of 2013.
Well, and obviously it's gone well for him in 62 appearances to have an ERA under 2.5. And a pretty good fastball right there at 95 miles an hour.
And two, what do you think if you're a guy who hasn't been in the big leagues in a long time, as we mentioned 2011, and you're a reliever, the last place that you would want to try to crack into would be Kansas City? I mean, is there a tougher bullpen to try to wiggle into?
Very good point.
But he has, and he's been a star. Two balls and a strike to Miller. Now, Madson said that he felt inspired to return and give it another go. As you can imagine, he considered ending his career after so many elbow injuries. Really the tipping point for Madson. He actually mentored a high school player last year in his home in Southern California, and that really kind of got the juices going again, and he decided he wanted to give it a run. He put on a lot of weight in a good way, added 30 pounds to his frame. Was pitching at around only 200 pounds earlier in his career. And here he is. Been one of the best for Kansas City this season. And blowing some heat at 97, as you see that time. Next home run for Brad Miller will mark a new career high, sitting on 10. That came last night. Easy play for Gordon. Doesn't have to move much. 1 out. And brings in Sucre. This month, the Mariners 13-6, hitting .281, the 3rd highest average in baseball. The highest OPS in the major leagues this month belongs to your Seattle Mariners. They're getting on base. They're hitting for power. They're hitting for average. The pitching has been extraordinary. Lowest ERA in the major leagues this month. The lowest opposing batting average in the majors in September. And the 2nd lowest whip. And it's been a very good month for many, including that man. Mike, do you get any sense what the offseason, what the winter will be like for Edgar?
Well, all I can tell you is, one, he's really enjoyed doing this job, which is, I think, important.
Because how do you know until you do it, right?
Well, you have to go through it, exactly, and then you get out traveling, and he has to get to the ballpark early. He's dealing with a lot of guys that are trying to get things fixed, and he's gotten most of them moving in the right direction. So I asked him the other day, in fact, when we were traveling here, I was talking to him and I asked him if he was enjoying it, and he smiled and said yes. So for me, that was a good sign, because you'd like to see him back in that dugout next year. And he's done an exceptional job with the guys so far. So I would imagine he'll get away a little bit. I'm sure he'll talk to the guys over the course of the winter if some of them want to get some work in. I'm sure he'd be happy to meet him at Safeco Field.
See now number 2. Well, when you think about former players and Hall of Fame caliber players who have become hitting coaches, you think of this guy, number 5, George Brett. And Mike, I think you bring up a good point about whether or not Edgar enjoys the job, because George Brett has been, well, they have pleaded in years past for Brett to be the hitting coach for the Royals, and he has done so on a couple of occasions, but only in an interim basis. He's made it pretty clear, listen, I don't want to be your everyday hitting coach. He doesn't want the schedule. There's other things that he would rather do.
No, it's a big commitment. Last time that George Brett was the hitting coach here was in 2013, and that's a big commitment you have to make. And that's the reason why my hope is that with all the success the guys are having, that Edgar was enjoying it, and he told me that he was. So that's a good sign.
What a night it's been for Marte, 3 for 3, including a 2-run triple. And the other thing that really can't be overlooked with a guy like Edgar. Edgar had some days, and Mike, you know this better than I do, early in his minor league career where he was really trying to find the swing, working hard at it, and it all came, it clicked, and he became a Hall of Fame caliber player. I think you can make the case that going through those struggles clearly helped to make him a better coach, obviously a better hitter. But there's some guys, maybe like George Brett, who's just kind of had it from day one. It seems like players like that don't necessarily make great coaches. They can't always relate to the guy.
I've said it many times. No, you're right. That's a good point. And on the other side of that, too, Aaron, he started to have a lot of success at the AAA level and couldn't get an opportunity at the major league level. And so you have to deal with that, too. And then when you get that opportunity, make the most of it right away. And he was able to do that.
Marte makes it out for the first time tonight, and the side retired in order by Madsen. As a statue, George Brett here inside Kauffman Stadium. As you consider how a Washington's lottery win would change your bucket list. Play today. Beautiful Kauffman Stadium here in the Heartland. A win tonight for the Mariners would nail down a series win, would set up a chance for a sweep, with Paxton facing Cueto tomorrow night as Danny Farquhar is back up on the mound to work the last of the 7th. He'll face Ben Zobrist to begin things.
Joe Beimel getting loose in the pen for the Mariners as James Jones will take over in center field for Brad Miller.
Farquhar ahead. You can see Beimel.
You have Kane, the right-hander, on deck, and then it's Hosmer, the left-handed, hitting first baseman after that. So Joe getting ready for Hosmer if Danny gets into some trouble.
Farquhar off the mound. An alley-oop to first base. Lomo on the receiving end. 1 out. Well, fans, don't forget to say hi to the best mascot in baseball. Next time you're at beautiful Safeco Field, swing by the Seattle Children's Moose Den, located in center field, for a photo with none other than the Mariner Moose. One out for Lorenzo Cain, an all-star this year. Cain got nationwide publicity for just a tremendous postseason last year. You could say that about any number of Royals players, and the story that surfaced about Cain, which stood out so great, was that he did not start playing baseball until he was in high school, and it wasn't until he was cut from his high school basketball team. That is what prompted him to start playing baseball. His mom wouldn't let him play football. Not many options left as Jones will have to catch up with this. Cain coasts into second base. And a 1-out double.
And it looks like the double is going to go on the cut fastball, trying to throw the cut fastball off the outside corner. Jones playing shallow in center field, wasn't able to catch up to the line drive. And Hosmer grew up with the fun of making a trip out to the mound.
Now, just like you expected, that will be it for Farquhar now. 1 out and a man at second base. Hosmer representing the tie-in run when we come back. Bottom of the 7th inning as we take a look at our CenturyLink. What's next? It's on to Anaheim after the series finale tomorrow. To be announced, TBA. In game 1 against hard-throwing Garrett Richards, we'll see the King, Felix Hernandez, on the mound in Anaheim on Saturday against Andrew Heaney. And then Sashi Iwakuma against Jared Weaver, who's had about a week to learn who Kyle Seager is. As we go to the bottom of the 7th with 1 out and 1 on. New pitcher is Joe Bible.
48 appearances for Joe, 2-1 record, ERA at a 4.19, 21 strikeouts, 16 walks over the 43 innings that Joe has worked, home sitting .272.
Cain the double. He's at second base. Hosmer the tying run, 0 for 3 tonight. Hosmer having a really solid season. He homered on Saturday in Detroit. That was his first home run since mid-August, and that was some concern here in Kansas City that the pop wasn't quite there. Not many extra base hits for Hosmer over the last, say, 2 months, but the average is there. We'll check it in on Kane. And the odd thing for Hosmer, you think about how many extra base hits over the last month and a half or two, and yet the overall numbers are very good. Up the middle, and it's right over Marte. Kane scores easily from second, and the Mariners lead trimmed to 1. Hosmer's first hit, and a timely one for his sake.
And the first hit for the Royals with the runner in scoring position tonight. They are now 1 for 8 as Kane comes around to score. Carson Smith is getting loose in the pen. We'll take a look at the swing by Hosmer. Line drive right back up the middle. Good effort by Marte. He was playing right where the line drive was, but just a little bit too high as he hit it over his head. Kelvin Herrera getting loose in the pen for the Royals, and Carson Smith in the pen for the Mariners.
Tag, and they got him! You can see that move brewing from Bible. It's one of the best. Hosmer taking some time to find the dugout, but that's where he will end.
Great move and a quick tag by Logan. And that is close. Logan tagged him on the elbow. And looking fun to making a trip out to the mound.
And normally in this case you would see the other manager, Ned Yost, coming out to say we want to take a look at that, but instead Lloyd bolting from the dugout, and that will be the final pitch, so to speak, thrown tonight from Beimel as Carson Smith warming up. And Kid Carson coming on here in the bottom of the 7th. The game. Suzanne and company tuning in tonight. Middle game of the series here from Kansas City. Mariners trying to hold on to this lead in the bottom of the 7th. It was Hosmer with the RBI single up the middle to score Kane, and then Hosmer leaning just a little too much, and we know by now this move from Beimel, and what a job by Lomo too, Mike.
A+ move, and then Logan Morrison letting the ball travel to put the quick move or the quick tag on the elbow of Hosmer.
We don't really know who Hosmer's yelling at, but clearly not pleased.
I'll give you a guess. Pat Hoberg. first base umpire.
Not agreeing with that?
Not agreeing with that.
Yeah, but if his manager didn't agree, wouldn't they have said we want to take a look at that?
You're absolutely right. But apparently he wasn't in the mood for any of it. It happens.
So you're saying that as a major leaguer, even if the call is right and it doesn't go your way, even though it's right, it doesn't necessarily make it right to you?
To tell you the truth, my guess would be that before Hosmer knew that when he was getting up off the ground, he said something to him, maybe that it was a balk move. Pat disagreed, and then they continued the conversation.
1 ball and 1 strike. Makes sense. One and 2. You can see the numbers. Better power numbers against lefties. The average almost the same as Morales gets handcuffed by that slider from Carson Smith. That is some filthy break from Smith as we go to the 8th. Mariners holding on by a run. Yeah, you're right, Jen. Boy, the Twins, what a surprise team they've been this year. Still staying alive late into the season is Kelvin Herrera, Mike. He throws about 100 and is up on the mound for the Royals.
He does. He'll be 95 to 100 miles an hour, and he's pitched well. 66 appearances, a 2.78 ERA, 61 strikeouts, and 64 2/3. Opponents hitting just 198. He's given up 5 home runs.
Herrera, an all-star this year for the first time in his career, and a new battery overall. Drew Butera taking over for Salvador Perez. Interesting to see the all-star catcher done for the night. It's Seager to lead things off here in the top of the 8th. Right to Escobar. 2 pitches and 1 out. Now for Herrera, the first half was magnificent this year. We mentioned an all-star for the first time. An ERA beneath 2. And he had as many strikeouts as innings pitched. The overpowering heat, but And the second half, the numbers have not quite been the same. He has an ERA pushing 4, and we've talked from time to time over the last couple of nights that the bullpen for the Royals, even though it is the best in the league, has shown some cracks, even minor ones maybe. Well, they're not used to that at all here in Kansas City over the last year and a half.
And you can see that last fastball, 100 miles an hour.
Cruz an RBI single his last time up in the 5th. Herrera now 25 years old in his 5th season. He's out of the Dominican Republic. Missed some time earlier this summer with the chicken pox. He and Alex Rios. Herrera also missed some time. He was suspended for 5 games. And that was when, remember the fighting Royals from earlier this season? It seemed like there was a brawl each week.
He and Ventura. In the middle of all of it.
Especially Ventura. But he was suspended for throwing at Brett Lawrie in April of the A's. You remember that it was Lawrie who had the hard slide into short, or into second base, that clipped the shortstop Escobar. The Royals and the A's had a thing going for a while. And Laurie's response to all of that really told you the day and age that we're in, as he apparently said that he texted Alcides Escobar, got his number from a teammate, but then apparently he got the wrong number, so he texted just some Joe and said, hey, sorry about the hard slide. So there's some guy walking around with a text message from a number he's never seen before. That was Brett Lawrie. 100 miles an hour, and Cruz can't do much with it. 2 up, 2 down. Now, Big Sky Conference football is back, and the action continues this Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific as the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks travel to Missoula to face the Montana Grizzlies. Root Sports is your home for Big Sky football, presented by your local Ford stores. For a full broadcast schedule, visit rootsports.com. Two outs for Cano.
Starts him off with a 91-mile-an-hour changeup.
Can you call it that?
I think you have to if his fastball's 100.
I guess you're right. Well, this would be quite the pitcher to get career hit number 2,000 off of. A strike. Here comes the 0-2. Well, even though Herrera a right-hander, he has been just absolutely dominant this year against left-handed hitters. They're barely hitting a $150 off of them. Not that right-handers are faring all that much better. Could it be because of that changeup?
I think so, and you can see the movement on it too. Not just going down, but running off the outside corner. Tough pitch to lay off when a guy's throwing 99 to 100 miles an hour.
Two outs, nobody on, top of the 8th. Slim lead for the Mariners. The 1-2. Now, with Greg Holland no longer closing for the Royals, his role is a little bit up in the air, but essentially everybody has been moved up. So Herrera, who is normally the 7th inning man, has now been pushed to the 8th inning with Wade Davis, normally the man of the 8th, now closing. The opposite way, and hit number 2,000 for Robinson Cano. A milestone here tonight in Kansas City at Kauffman Stadium. They'll throw that baseball back to the dugout. And plenty more coming for number 22.
And what a great at bat to get it on. Herrera throwing a couple of change-ups, fastball 99 to 100, and he did not see one pitch in the middle of the plate, including the last one that he hit, which was on the outside corner, and he hit it the other way. Solid line drive. Great at bat.
Two outs for Goody.
We'll take another look at it. Solid line drive in the left.
That'll buzz the tower at 99 and brings out Butera. Well, this ballpark has had its share of memorable hits in terms of the overall hit tracker. You think about Frank White, a long-time member of the Royals, 18 years. He picked up hit number 2,000 here at Kauffman. Finished his career with just over 2,000, 2006, but really the big one. Well, there you can see the statue of Frank White. Paul Molitor, now the manager for the Twins. Hit number 3,000 came right here at Kauffman back in '96. The only member of the 3,000 hit club to get number 3,000 on the triple. Cracked into left field. Gordon can't get to it as Cano will put on the brakes. Goody's first hit tonight. That extends the hitting streak to 6 games.
And we'll take a look at the swing. Fastball right on the inside corner. Again, Herrera not throwing many pitches in the middle of the plate. Stephen Romero going to pinch run for Gutierrez.
You think about that. Paul Molitor hit number 3,000. I believe Robin Yount was here in Kansas City. He had just retired. Yount, that is, and those two partners in crime for so many years. Yount, the Hall of Famer, and over 3,000 hits himself.
Well, this should be a pretty good matchup. Seth Smith is due up. Likes to hit the fastball. A good fastball hitter. Mariners tonight 2 for 5 runners in scoring position. All the outfielders are shallow, and again, Cano has not been running well as of late.
Ball 1 to Smith. Mariners trying to tack on here in the 8th as the Royals got a run back in the 7th. A single by Hosmer. Romero running at first. Cano at second. And it brings Butera out. When you think about Royals and 3,000 hits, of course you think about the greatest Royal, George Brett, which we talked about him an inning or two ago. Hit number 3,000 for number 5 came almost approaching the anniversary on September 30th of '92. That was in Anaheim on a 4-hit game.
Guess he wanted to get it over with.
He wanted to get it over with. When you think
I wasn't going to bring it up.
I thought it, and we've confirmed it. Brett got picked off after hit number 3,000.
He was tired after 4 hits and went back to the dugout.
I wonder what that reception was like in the dugout.
A good one, I bet.
A good one with some fun as well. Now they throw the ball into the dugout, and moments later, Brett follows it. I would think that he would have a pretty good sense of humor about that.
Tim Fortuno was the one that picked him off.
Lifted right field, some good carry, but Rios in front of the track. Plenty to make the catch. Cano and Romero left stranded as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mariners by a run. At the ribs, they're cooking outside the truck. A lot of baby backs. That'll be the post-game spread. That might even be better with the guys get in the clubhouse here in Kansas City. They are a cooking. Hopefully they'll still be there when we get out of the booth, Mike.
Yeah.
Stephen Romero in left field. He pinch ran for Goody. Carson Smith back up on the mound.
Came on in the 7th inning, was able to get the final out, striking out Morales.
Moustakas beginning the bottom of the 8th. Just foul. And by the way, we got some news in between innings. An update as to why Salvador Perez, the All-Star and Gold Glove catcher, left for the Royals as Butera took over behind home. Left for precautionary reasons with a knee contusion, a lateral knee contusion, to be specific.
I was wondering about it because one of the things that Ned Yost had talked about was trying to have him take some innings off from behind the plate to get him ready for the postseason.
Which made more sense in last night's ball game and a little less sense tonight in a one-run game.
Yeah, he probably, I would be surprised if he plays over the next few days. You're going to get that taken care of.
Watch out.
Hit him with a slider.
Tie and run at first.
Actually hit him in the shin. I thought he hit him with the foot with the slider, but it was the slider that hit him in the leg. Well, we're going to have to keep your eye on him. Rod Dyson. He will not be standing at first base for very long. Kyle Seager in at third, expecting the bunt with Butera hitting.
Back to the mound. Sucre. Dyson into second. Salias getting the start for the Mariners, and here's what it looked like, Mike.
And he really had everything working. Here's a good look in our Alaska Supermo and the changeup from Elias. And then, of course, the good 12-6 curveball. Good look in our Alaska Airlines Supermo as Sucre frames that pitch. And again, the line for Elias: 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 4 walks. Was able to pitch around 4 walks. 6 strikeouts for me through 95 pitches, 53 of those for strikes.
Now things getting sticky here in the bottom of the 8th. Rios, who has a sac fly under his belt already tonight, an 11-game hitting streak, he's looking to extend. At the plate now with 1 strike, 1 out, and all kinds of speed and scoring position.
And that's a good idea, and Carson's going to have to change his looks, especially with the right-handed hitter up. It makes it a little bit easier for Dyson to try to steal third if he wants to with just 1 out. See Cano trying to keep him close to the base.
Freezes him, gets a strike. 0-2. Medios going to his bench here in this bottom of the 8th inning. This is a big sequence of pitches. Dyson really dancing around. He commands a lot of attention.
And you could hear Cano telling him to step off. He was going to go right there, trying to time it again.
Well, that man does not help pace of play. He will really make you work.
Really don't have a choice. You have to pay attention to him.
Now Royals fans booing as if they haven't seen this before this year. Sucre able to keep it in front of him, and he scares Dyson back to the bag.
It's going to be a slider off the plate and in the dirt. Good play by Sucre.
One out, Dyson right behind Carson Smith. He is the tying run. Rios the go ahead. There goes Dyson, swing and a miss. Sucre a rifle to third, and he is safe. It's a strikeout to Rios. Dyson 90 feet from home.
And we'll take a look at it. So he comes out of the chute in pretty good shape, but just too much speed from Dyson. And he's able to keep his foot on the bag. The good news, he was able to get the strikeout, so now there's 2 outs. He was already in scoring position at second.
And that out number 2 big as well. It takes away the chance for a sac fly. Escobar showing bunt.
Well, and that's what you have to be careful of with Carson. He likes to throw a lot of sliders. I think Sucre wants to make sure he doesn't overthrow it. And if it gets it doesn't have to go to the backstop. If it gets away from him anywhere, he's going to try to score.
It all started with the pitch in the shin to Moustakas. Moustakas lifted, and that brought on Dyson. Sac bunt from Utera, who began tonight's game on the bench, taking over for Perez. Now moved Dyson into second base, and then the steal to third. Three balls and no strikes.
Tom Wilhelmsen getting loose in the pen.
Now showing bunt that time, pulled it back and took ball 4, missing by a lot. Escobar at first, runners on the corners.
And that'll bring Lloyd out of the dugout.
Escobar on base for the 3rd time. A couple of walks, a double.
And we'll see what he wants to do. Another conversation with Carson or get Tom. He's just going to let him know how he wants him to attack Gordon.
And keep in mind, Lloyd has seen the likes of Alex Gordon and many of these Royals hitters for a long time. So many years in this division with the Central, with the Tigers.
He knows them well, and I saw him. He was talking to Sucre, letting him know the sequence of pitches that he wanted to see right here, how he wants them to try to get him out. And then he looked at Carson, and I think it was more of, let's locate our pitches. Don't try to overthrow them. At times, you try to throw your best slider and you overthrow it. Let's get back to our mechanics and just try to locate these pitches, hit the ground ball, and get out of here.
Now for the Mariners, trying to hold on for a win tonight. It would mean a series win. It would mean their 2nd straight series win against the first place team. Meanwhile, for the Royals, they are trying to snap a September slide. They've lost 6 of their last 9. They've already lost more games this month than any other month this season.
Outfielders are playing deep. A lot of speed at first base, and Escobar too.
Drops in a strike. It's been a long funk for Gordon. A strike call.
2 perfect pitches. Slider on the inside corner, comes right back with a fastball in the outside corner at 93. And we'll take a look at it. Nice job by Sucre to frame that pitch.
Tying run is 90 feet from home. The go ahead at first. Smith's 0-2. A little bit low as Escobar trots into second base without a throw. And now 2 in scoring position for the Royals. 2 outs and 2 strikes to Gordon. Smith got the big strikeout to Morales to end the 7th. The 1-2, and he cuts right through it. The slider is nasty again tonight from Carson Smith as the Royals strand 2 in scoring position, and some pitches you just can't quite hit. depression reigning through. New pitcher up on the mound for the Royals, Luke Hochevar, facing Logan Morrison. Now Lomo's first at bat as a father. Gerard Dyson in center field. Lorenzo Cain has moved to right field. One and one. Lomo was not here yesterday, flew back home to Seattle. Was there for the birth of his daughter. Took a very early morning flight out, was able to get there in time. And here is his beautiful little daughter back home in Seattle. As Brad Miller, I think very appropriately said, her Twitter handle should be a teacup of Lomo. Miller getting all the credit for that one. Logan had a fantastic quote today, Mike, and you can relate to this. He said, you know, as you see, Cuthbert is now taking over at third. He said, I used to think that hitting home runs was the greatest feeling until I held my newborn baby daughter.
Oh, yeah. I was glad he was able to get back there.
Pretty cool stuff for Lomo.
Yeah.
Who might not know what day it is right now. It's been a whirlwind. 2-2. You can see the numbers here on Hochevar.
3.65 ERA. Opponent sitting 256, giving up 6 home runs.
It was the first overall pick back in 2006 by Kansas City. Missed all of last year with Tommy John. And for Hochevar, it's always frustrating to miss a season, but especially for Hochevar, who was a starter over the first many years of his career and then transitioned to the bullpen and really had a breakout year as a reliever right before that Tommy John surgery. Full count to Logan Morrison. And he thought he took ball 4. Rob Drake, the home plate umpire, disagrees, and you can see very borderline call there.
He's going to go with a two-seam fastball, started inside, have it run back on the inside corner. I think Logan thought that pitch was down.
James Jones steps in with 1 out. Looking to bunt and taking ball 1. Well, the Mariners trying to give Tom Helmson a little bit of breathing room here in the top of the 9th inning. Trying to add on a run. James has really done something kind of interesting with his stance this year. He discovered that before his stance was closed to a degree that he really wasn't able to see the pitcher as well with both eyes, and has opened it up a little bit.
I think when you watch games, most of the guys that hit with an open stance, that's the reason why it started that way, for the same reason.
And if you ever see James looking like he's winking at the plate, he has a routine or a test to be able to tell if his head is positioned in the right way. If he closes his leading eye, so his right eye, and can still see the pitcher with,
then he's okay.
Then he's okay.
Yeah.
But if he closes that right eye and he's not seeing the pitcher that well, then he knows he needs to open up a little bit more. That's something that Jay Buhner said that he did to see better, to see the pitcher better.
A lot of the guys that you see with an open, that's the reason why they start that way. Because so many times when you close off with your foot, you also turn your shoulder in farther, and it causes all kinds of problems.
Little looper, rainbow, and oh, what a catch by Escobar. Takes a hit away from Jones, 2 outs.
And this is a shame for the Mariners. It would have been nice to get Jones on base with his speed, but a fine play by Escobar.
Two outs for Sucre. Strike 1. When we go to the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Zobrist, Kane, and Hosmer due up for Kansas City, 2, 3, and 4. Hochevar did not have good success as a starter. An ERA over 5 over a long period of time, 07 to 2012. And things have been different for Hochevar, especially since Tommy John, and especially out of the bullpen. Been a different pitcher.
Tom Wilhelmsen ready to go.
Count 2-2 to Sucre. A lot of fastballs and a lot of cutters from Hochevar.
Everything away from Sucre.
And Sucre, a 2-out walk. That'll bring in Marte. We will take a look at our CenturyLink What's Next. It all comes to a close tomorrow night here in Kansas City. James Paxton, the lefty, going up against Johnny Cueto. First pitch time It'll be 5:10 back home. Our pregame coverage beginning at 4:30.
For Paxton, he's had good stuff. His fastball has been 95 miles an hour. Good curveball. Just hasn't had a lot of command yet. Still trying to work that out. We talked about Cueto earlier in the broadcast. He had really been struggling up till his last start. So it'll be interesting to see that matchup tomorrow.
Two outs for Marte. Sucre at first.
Marte has had a good night. He is 3 for 4. Scored a run and driven in 2.
A lot of talk about Cueto in recent days here in Kansas City and why he has been pitching overall poorly lately, stemming from the target where Salvador Perez sets up behind home plate. It will be interesting to see if it is Salvador Perez behind home plate tomorrow, leaving with a precautionary knee injury tonight.
They want the target to be lower.
Maybe it'll be Butera tomorrow night. We will find out. Big bounding grounder over to Zobrist. Overhand throw for out number 3. Sucre stranded. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The bartender coming on, trying to lock down the save in Kansas City. Fan fave each month. One lucky fan will win a Coors Light Refresherator just for participating. For official rules, visit rootsports.com. Well, this one coming down to the 9th inning here from the K in Kansas City as Tom Wilhelmsen, the Mariners closer, on to lock down the save tonight.
Tom has really done a nice job in the closer's role. Take a look at his numbers overall. 49 appearances, 3.14 ERA, 55 strikeouts at 57 and a third. Opponents hitting .249 against Tom, but he has been almost unhittable lately. He's had a good fastball, 95 to 97 miles an hour, that 12-6 curveball, and he will mix in a changeup to the left-handed hitters. If you take a look at Zobrist, going to lead things off, switch hitter for the Royals.
Now Tom pitching for the first time in a little bit, as he last appeared on the 18th in Arlington. Picked up the save, but he has been flawless in save tries this year. He faces Zobrist right away. Switch hitter, you can see some better average against righties, better pop against lefties. Skips it in there at 96.
He just spikes a fastball.
2-0. A strike there with the Heat. And it evens up 2-2. Zobrist to double back in the first inning, a walk in the third. Tom's 2-2 pitch, and it's chopped foul.
Went with the changeup. 4 fastballs and then the changeup.
Carson Smith was phenomenal. An inning in the third to bridge the gap to Wilhelmsen. Slow ground ball, skimming all the way to Cano. 2 outs away.
And another good changeup. Been a big help to Tom. Having the ability to throw the changeup to the left-handers. This is going to end up down out of the strike zone. I think to Kane, you'll see more of his fastball, maybe a cutter and a curveball. Kane with a double his last time up and scored a run.
Hasn't seen much of Wilhelmsen. Big swing and a miss. Right back up the middle and a base hit. Tie and run with good speed at first base. We'll see how close that came to Wilhelmsen. Maybe he got a piece.
No, I think it did get a piece of him. Right back up the middle, right off his glove. Yeah. Tom going with the changeup there. A little bit surprised to see that, but changeup and he hit it back up the middle.
Hosmer, a run-scoring single in the 7th, then picked off by Bible. He was not too pleased about that.
It may have been the cutter.
Hosmer, the winning run for Kansas City. Kane, the tying run at first. Now the Royals, the rare case of a first place team with a 10-run cushion and a magic number of 3, playing with at least a thread of desperation here in the 9th inning. Two and 0. A win tonight would mean a series win for the Mariners here in Kansas City. But this will not be easy for Tom. Through the left side, a base hit. Kane puts on the Jets. Romero's throw, and in at third base is Kane. They've got him on the corners.
And they have their leading leading home run RBI guy coming to the plate. We take a look. This is going to shatter his bat right off the end of the bat. You can see the barrel go back to the backstop, but he finds a hole on the left side of the infield. Romero playing deep, not able to get to it in time with the speed of Kane.
Well, it looked like Kane kind of had a half-breath of hesitation and then took off right away.
I don't think he expected Romero to be playing as deep as he was. And, of course, when you get to this point in the game, a runner at first, you're going to play no doubles, and all the outfielders are right in front of the track. And I think maybe also when the ball was hit, he expected it to be hit harder than it was. And that's why he took a quick look. And when he saw the distance separation between the ball and where Romero was and left, that's when he decided to go. And the good news for Tom is if he can make a good pitch right here, a double play will get him out of this. Morales does not run well.
No, he is about as great of a double play target as you can find. That being said, he's been one of the best RBI men in baseball. Has been a perfect 12 for 12 in save tries this year, and that is being put to the test here tonight in Kansas City. As this ballpark has suddenly found one voice, fans up on their feet here at Kauffman.
And if Morales hits a fly ball, it's not going to take much of a fly ball to score Kane from third.
Tough numbers tonight with runners in scoring position for the Royals. Two 2-0. Zobrist began this bottom of the ninth with the ground out to Cano. Kane a single, Hosmer a single. Chopper but foul. Helmson facing his former teammate here in the ninth. Big swing and a miss, 2-2.
Really good changeup, well located at the bottom of the strike zone. 89 miles an hour.
Morales has been the run producer this year for Kansas City. Full count.
Tom has not thrown him a fastball yet. See Dyson waiting on deck. Dyson came into the game as a pinch runner, has not had an at bat yet.
One out, first and third. And a walk to load him up. Here is Dyson.
You always have to be aware of the bunt, too. You have really good speed at third base, and Dyson, of course, can fly. Now you have Gore pitch running from Morales. He can also get down the line, so a lot of speed on the bases for the Royals.
We saw Terrence Gore late in last night's game.
Kyle Seager playing in front of the bag at third, trying to take the bunt away. Logan Morrison even with the bag at first.
Tying run at third, go ahead winning run at second. First pitch ball to each of the last 3 Royals hitters. They've got them loaded up. Now Dyson saying that's off the plate. You can see the tracer. 1-1. Two balls and a strike.
See Tom really working hard, trying to keep the ball down. If he puts it in play, he wants it on the ground.
Kane at third, Hosmer at second base. Score off the bench, running at first. The 2-2. Lifted high right field. Smith drifted over. This will make Kane tag. Here comes a throw, and it's not in time. We are all tied up.
Tagged up in second, so he's at third. You have Gore at first, Hosmer at third. We take a look at the throw by Seth Smith. Doing everything that he can. Just too much speed. Things about Hosmer at third, even though he's a first baseman and a big man, he can run. Colon's going to pinch hit for Butera.
Now this is Perez's spot, but he left with a knee injury. Gore takes out to second. He's in there in indifference. The man that counts is Hosmer at third, the winning run. Hosmer reached on the single into left field. Now the command has just not been as sharp the last few batters for Wilhelmsen. A lot of time in AAA this year for Cologne. Yost hoping that a September call-up can win it tonight for Kansas City. Three and one. Wow. What happened there? That's a big swing.
That makes a big difference between 2-2 and 3-1. 2-2. Khan might be able to throw his curveball, pitch to the edge of the plate.
Now there is the curve.
Didn't want to give in to him with first base open.
Cologne, the man who scored the winning run in the wild card game of the 12th inning. Now the base hit by Salvador Perez. Bites off a fastball, still 3-2. Hosmer at third base, the winning run.
Eighth pitch of the at-bat coming up.
The 3-2. They lost him and they're loaded.
"30 pitches in the inning for Tom.
Cuthbert's first at bat. And it's been a ball one to each of the last 5 batters.
Tom splits aren't what we're used to seeing. 31 pitches, 16 strikes, 15 balls. Just has not had the command we've seen over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Cuthbert into right field. Easy play for Smith. And the Royals will leave them loaded, but they have tied it up, and we are going to the 10th inning in Kansas City. And the Kansas City Royals, Wade Davis.
What a year he is having. 63 appearances, 7-1 record, ERA under 1, 0.88 ERA, 70 strikeouts and 61 2/3. Opponents hitting just 148 against Davis.
Davis, a first-time All-Star this year, actually received some Cy Young votes last season. Has the lowest earned run average in baseball since the start of last season, as Pena takes over behind home for Butera, who relieved Perez.
Good part of the lineup due up for the Mariners. You have Seager, Cruz, and Cano.
When you think about Wade Davis, it's easy to forget that he was just one of those names that was kind of beneath the fold in the James Shields deal with Will Myers.
He was an okay starter for the Rays.
Was not a good starter for Kansas City either. They moved him to the bullpen, and all of a sudden he came to life. It turned out to be a very, very good trade for Kansas City. Off the foot for Seager. It's 0-2. Davis has allowed only 2 home runs all year. Easy play for Cuthbert at third. Out number 1. As that brings in Cruz. It's funny when you think about the change for closers here in Kansas City. Davis, who you can make the argument, and people could certainly argue against it, that he suddenly has maybe the nastiest stuff among any closer in baseball, now that he is a closer. But when you think about setup men around the American League this year, Betances with the Yankees and Davis until now with the Royals, those 2 guys could have closed for almost every team in baseball this year, at least especially in the American League.
Agreed. But Holland was so good at that job that it just made sense. Have him pitch the 8th. You have Herrera in the 7th. Really shorten up the game, but with Holland, he's had his issues this year, and he has 32 saves, though.
Herrera, by the way, in the 7th is a joke.
100 miles an hour.
We saw how tough he was again tonight. Snared there, right by Zobrist. Two outs. That brings in Mr. 2000, Robinson Cano. Hit number 2000 back in the 8th inning, a single the opposite way against or off of Herrera.
Logan Kensing getting loose in the Mariners pen.
As you see, hit number 2000 earlier tonight from Cano.
It was a great at bat. You mentioned Herrera, who was throwing 100 miles an hour. Did not see one pitch in the middle of the plate. Brought a couple of change ups off and eventually ended up picking up that base hit.
Cano ahead of the count, 2-1. It was a sac fly by Gerard Dyson at the bottom of the 9th inning not that long ago that has sent us to extras here this evening in Kansas City. Dyson has taken over in center. We mentioned only 2 home runs this year off of Davis. He had a string of over 125 innings without allowing a long ball. That was snapped in August, and you can guess which American League team took him deep at their ballpark. north of the border. Who else would it be? The Blue Jays.
That last fastball was 99 miles an hour.
Immortal 94 that time at a full count.
94 mile an hour cutter just off the inside corner.
Two outs, nobody on, all tied up in the 10th. Hard grounder. Hosmer, the backhand. And Davis finishes it off. A 1-2-3, top of the 10th. Royals have a chance to walk off with a win tonight. Three apiece, middle game of the series. As we look at our CenturyLink What's Next. We'll find out soon enough who will be the starter on Friday in Anaheim against Garrett Richards. Just saw Richards recently back at home. And then the King, Felix Hernandez, Saturday against Andrew Heaney. It'll be Iwakuma versus Jared Weaver on Sunday. As Logan Kinsing taking over.
13 appearances, ERA just over 5, 9 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 10 2/3. Opponent's hitting 162. He's given up 1 home run. Fastball being in the low 90s. We're going to see quite a few sliders from Logan. Tom Wilhelmsen having to throw 32 pitches.
A couple of walks from Wilhelmsen, and that helped things. Here is Alcides Escobar, the number 9 hitting shortstop to begin things. In the bottom of the 10th, any kind of run wins it for the Royals. Kinsing solid as of late, no runs, 10 of his last 13 outings. Was called up when Rodney was DFA'd.
Romero in left, Jones in center, both playing deep, just in front of the warning track. Smith about straight up and right. Kyle Seager guarding the line at third.
First pitch strike to Escobar. Kinsing ahead quickly, 0-2. Logan time with the Marlins when he broke into the big leagues. Also Washington, Colorado as well. It has been Elias, Farquhar, Bible, Smith, Wilhelmsen, and now Kinsing. Kinsing almost motioning like he couldn't see in. Get the signs correct?
That's exactly what he was letting Sucre know. He's able to see the signs.
Now Toronto shut out the Yankees tonight 4-0, so the Royals will need a win to stay a game and a half up on the Blue Jays for the best record. Trying to fight for home field advantage down the stretch. Lifted. This had some thump behind it all the way back to the wall, and Romero is able to make the catch. Escobar gave it a ride, but it's out number one.
And we'll take a look at it. It's a fastball, trying to get it in on his hands, leaves it out over the plate just a little bit. And this is why you play the guys deep late in the ball game. Tie game, playing just in front of the track. Fairly easy catch for Romero. Going to have a pitching change. Kinsing called on for one batter, able to get the job done. It's David Rollins will take over.
Rollins up on the mound when we come back. All right, thank you, Jen. New pitcher up on the mound for the Mariners, David Rollins. Will face Alex Gordon. One out, nobody on for the Royals.
So back to the top of the lineup for the Royals. You have the switch hitter Zobrist waiting on deck. 18 appearances for Rollins, 7.5 ERA.
Swinging strike to make it 0-2.
After Zobrist, you have Kane due up. You have the right-hander Tony Zick getting loose in the pen for the Mariners.
There you can see Zick. Romero having a race after it into the corner, and a foul ball.
Romero playing over towards left center. It looks like it hits off the padding, just foul.
Rollins ahead of the count. And it evens up. And to center field, a base hit. And the Royals have the winning run at first.
The pitch middle away. It looked like the breaking ball, the slider from Rollins. He probably gets none if he's able to get that ball down. About belt high, middle away.
Over. Winning run in scoring position.
And that will bring out Lloyd. McClendon is going to make a pitching change. We'll take a look at it. It looks like a slider that's going to hit him right in the foot. He was going to try to bunt for a base hit right off the toe.
We saw Zick warming up to face the right-handed batter. Lorenzo Cain will step aside. A winning run at second base for Kansas City. Our Delta Airlines keep climbing standings. Oh, the Twins have won 4-2 at home tonight against the Indians. Remember the magic number 3 for the Royals, so a combination of Royals wins and Twins losses totaling 3. The Twins haven't done them any favors.
And the Twins right now are looking right at the Houston Astros, who also lost today.
Astros losing at home, a day game in Houston against the Angels, as Paulo Orlando has taken over as a pinch runner for Alex Gordon, who singled with 1 out. So Orlando the winning run as Zick is up on the mound.
8 appearances, a 3.60 ERA, 12 strikeouts in 10 innings. Opponent's hitting .237 off of Tony. Good fastball, 95 to 97 miles an hour. Also mix in a slider. He's going to face a tough hitter in Lorenzo Cain. Cain with base hits his last 2 times up, and he's scored a couple of runs.
He can win it for the Royals here in the bottom of the 10th.
Pretty good fastball, 97 miles an hour, and didn't get the call. Looked like it was a strike. You can see it on the EQC tracer.
No doubt there. The opposite way, base hit. Orlando had to hold on for a second. Dershowitz will wave him home. Smith's throw to the plate. Sucre's tag. The Royals win it.
We were talking about it earlier, Aaron, and Lorenzo Cain bursting on the scene in the playoffs last year. And he was the difference in this ball game. A double in the 7th to score a run. That made it 3-2. A base hit in the 9th scores a run to tie it up. And now the base hit to give the Royals the win. Wastes a pretty good pitching effort by Elias. We'll take a look at it. It's a slider. Didn't quite get it to the outside corner. He went the other way with it. Orlando did wait. He wasn't sure if Cano was going to be able to make the catch on the line drive. And there you can see him sliding in, getting his hand on home plate.
You think about the speed that Yost has on his bench. We saw Dyson come off the bench. We saw Gore come off the bench. And now Orlando come off the bench.
A lot of speed, and they already had a lot of speed in their lineup.
Tough loss tonight. 3 hours and 44 minutes in 10 innings. As we've got a rubber game tomorrow coming up. That'll be Paxton versus Cueto. Mariners post game presented by Delta Airlines. It starts right now with Jen Mueller.